Hello, friends. We're here with another guided meditation. And before we jump into the meditation today, I want to take a moment to discuss a little bit about the purpose of meditation. So, in life, if you ask someone, what's your life goal? A lot of people have a lot of different answers. But if we look a little past the surface level, the answer is actually pretty much the same. So on the surface level, if we ask someone, what's your life goal? Perhaps it's, to be very famous, or to have this amount of money, or to get this nice car, or to find the perfect partner, all these various goals. But if we dissect that a little deeper, we realize that they're all seeking happiness. Perhaps we want that amount of money so that we feel like we don't have to worry, and then that leads to happiness. Or we may want fame because if people like us, we have a lot of happy feelings, and in tune we are happy. Or if we want, let's say, that perfect partner, we think that they will make us happy. So ultimately, we're all seeking happiness, and if you take that a little deeper, we seek happiness so that we cultivate this peace inside and we can share it with others. But sometimes when people run around with these pursuits, and we can see this a lot with very famous, wealthy people that have a lot of these accomplishments that many people seek, they find that they actually don't find happiness through them. They run around, they get a lot of fame, a lot of money, a lot of partners, a lot of those, pleasures that life has to offer. And then they end up fairly sad and often end up in addictions and not so good things. So instead of running around learning these things for ourselves, and maybe we have to some degree already, if we see that ultimately we're doing these things to seek happiness, we can start seeking happiness in a more direct way. And that's what meditation does. It gives us a direct way of working with our consciousness, with our mind, to acquire happiness. And that is the purpose why we meditate. Of course, it brings a lot of various byproducts, such as perhaps someone might be doing it just to de-stress, or to get better sleep, or to, help them with anxiety, or various kind of different things. But if you look more deeply, it's so that we can find happiness. And when we find a lot of happiness, that in turn leads us to wanting to share that happiness and share it with our loved ones or families. And if we expand that, at some point, probably all beings. So now we have clarity on why we're here, why we're meditating. And we're going to be practicing 3 techniques. These techniques, they're 3 different techniques, but they work as a trinity to help each other. They strengthen each other. So the first technique we're going to be practicing is breath meditation, also known as Anapana meditation. And Anapana is, we focus all our concentration of our whole being into this one point at the tip of our nose where the air comes in and comes out. Now, the reason that is valuable is because it strengthens our concentration. It's like we're bringing all this light of concentration, we're putting it into one point and making it into a very sharp, very powerful laser. And that can really help us with the next technique, which is insight meditation, also known as body scanning meditation, or the Pali word in the language of the Buddha, Vipassana meditation. So, insight meditation is where we go through our body, scanning all the sensations section by section. We go down the arms, back up, down the body, and then back up the head. So we scan the body slowly, scan it up and down. And that in tune brings us insight. Now, what kind of insight can just feeling your body sensations bring you? one of the most helpful insights is to learn how to not react, because when we have sensations, they're often either pleasant or unpleasant. So let's say we have an unpleasant sensation. We often react with a lot of aversion. Let's say my knee hurts, and then we have aversion. It's like, oh no, don't, and that in turn causes more suffering. Or, for example, feeling of anger, when we have aversion towards it, and then that causes more suffering. Or the opposite of pleasant sensations. Let's say we have a very pleasant sensation from eating a lot of sugar, and then we cling to it, and then that's addiction. And then when we don't have sugar, we feel sad, and then that causes suffering, or addictions to various things. Or we can become addicted to feelings. Let's say someone wins the lottery and they get a lot of excitement, all this very intense feeling, but then after a few days, they get robbed or something, or even not even that, like the feeling just dissipates, and then they feel sad because they were clinging to this feeling, but then it went away. And that's happens with a lot of things. Just about everything comes to an end, or is impermanent. So ultimately, if we have pleasant sensations or unpleasant sensations, they lead to suffering. And when we practice meditation, this insight meditation, we are truly practicing remaining equanimous to the sensations. Equanimous meaning non-reactive, just remaining equal, calm. So perhaps a negative feeling comes up, we just observe it. We observe it, we don't react, and then it dissipates, and it causes way less commotion in our being than if we try to push it away or react it with aversion. Or let's say a pleasant sensation comes up, and instead of clinging to it, we just observe it. We remain peaceful, equanimous, and then it goes away and we're still peaceful, equanimous. So we're developing this inner peace that is beyond pleasure or beyond suffering, where it's peaceful, where it's calm, where it's not reactive to sensations, to feelings, and really everything in our experience are those things. We see with our eyes and hear. Let's say we're seeing something negative, it in turn turns into a feeling that is a sensation, let's say somewhere in the chest, and we react to that. And it happens very fast. It's sometimes hard to notice because it's so fast. But if we kind of cut the root of this reaction, this instant, sometimes almost instant reaction of aversion or attachment, we can become free. We can create a sanctuary within our beings of peace. So that's a very powerful insight it brings us. And that's what we're practicing with these sensations, ultimately, is observing them objectively without attaching feelings of my pain or my pleasure, but just observing them almost like a scientist, with taking a step back. Or another way I like to think of it is like we're instead of being in a movie of life, of our sensations in our body, we are in the audience, when we meditate, and we start to kind of take a step back and maybe get a little less involved. And then as we meditate more, we take a step back and back and back each row. And then it's just, we create this distance, this healthy distance that keeps us from getting too caught up, too involved, and too much suffering. And then eventually maybe we end up in the back room seeing the projector making the movie. And then, we won't get caught up again, is ultimately what meditation leads to. And lastly, the last technique we're going to be practicing is loving kindness meditation, Metta meditation. So Metta meditation is about sending love to all beings and sending love inwards, of course. So we usually start with sending love inwards and then outwards. So this technique, we get to be a little more creative. There's not super definitive guidelines. We can think about doing this in various ways, but it brings us a lot of happiness. Ironically, the more happiness we wish for others, the more kind of it reflects towards ourselves. So you can do it, if at first you don't feel a lot of love for others, think of it, you can begin to think of it as kind of like, well, the more love I feel for others, I'll get it back. So you can kind of think of it if you're at that stage of your journey in a little more selfish way. But as your heart opens, you'll start to realize that, really there's no huge differentiation. Like, as you start to feel these feelings of love towards yourself and others, the boundaries of those differences kind of start to dissolve. We start to dissolve, and we start to be less identified with this body, this mind, and we start to, kind of feel more vast. And when we start to say, may all beings be happy and well, we realize that, we're saying to ourselves, to everything, and we kind of start to step into a consciousness of being all a little more, which in tune also gives us a lot of freedom from suffering, because we're not attached to this body, to this person, to this lifetime. We start to feel, more infinite. And so, yeah, that technique is really helpful to conclude all meditations with, by sending love to all, to yourself, to everything. So those are the 3 techniques we're going to be practicing: breath meditation, insight meditation or body scanning meditation, and loving kindness meditation. So Anapana, Vipassana, and Metta. Okay, so the important thing for this meditation is that you are seated in a very comfortable seated position, but that you have your spine nice and straight. And the reason that is very important is not just because it's good for your back. It's not like, oh, eat your vegetables, it's good for you, which it is. But it helps us stay alert, because something that kind of comes up some days, or even especially at the beginning of your practice, is sleepiness. So if we keep our spine nice and straight, we kind of prevent that sleepiness. So you don't have to be sitting on, I'm sitting on a meditation cushion here on the floor, but you can feel free to sit on a chair or whatever seated position is the most comfortable for you. You can do like just crisscross. You can do half lotus, full lotus if you're familiar with those seated positions. You can just sit on a chair regularly, but just make sure, I like to put on a chair like a little pillow or something, just so I'm not reclined, just so that you're keeping that spine nice and straight. You can even imagine a string from the top of your head just pulling up. But besides that, we want to relax everything else. So we're kind of finding this balance between alertness and deep relaxation. So we just keep just what we need to keep this nice and straight, but everything else, we relax. So, and in our mind, we're going to do the same. We're going to be focused on our anchor, our particular technique, and every other aspect, we're going to relax of our mind. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So go ahead, and if you feel safe, we recommend closing your eyes, just so that, well, I recommend. I don't know who the we is, but all right. So close your eyes. Okay. And we're going to let things begin to settle down. Throughout our day, we might have been running, doing a lot of things. Our inner being is like choppy water, going from task to task, thought to thought. But now we're going to begin to find some stillness. And you'll see there's a correlation between stillness of the body and stillness of the mind. As we let our bodies begin to become more and more still, our mind will naturally become more and more still also. Like calm waters. So we're going to start with our first technique. We will only practice this first technique briefly today of breath meditation. So we're going to bring all the focus of our being to the point of our nose where the air comes in and goes out. And we're going to let the breath be natural. We're just going to be aware of what it is. We're going to renounce any feelings of wanting to control things. And we're going to surrender to how the breath is exactly in this moment. Trust your breath, trust your body. Perhaps the breath is shallow, or perhaps the breath is deep. No right or wrong. We just observe how it is, without judgment. And as the mind wanders, we bring it back again and again, very gently, to this anchor of the breath. Even if it wanders a trillion times, we bring it back to our meditation anchor, which right now is the breath. And instead of getting upset when the mind wanders, we are thankful because it's like doing a rep with a weight. Each time we bring it back, we get a little stronger. Our mindfulness muscle gets stronger. And as you will begin to see in your practice, at first it's normal for the human mind to stay on our anchor briefly and then wander off, and then we bring it back. But as we practice more and more, the time of being focused on our point of concentration will become longer and longer, like a muscle that is strengthened. Another helpful thing is to view it as the thoughts just being surface level and not getting too involved, not running after them, not seeing them through, but just letting them be surface level, while your deeper part of your being remains focused on your anchor, the breath. And instead of having a forced concentration, a tense concentration, we're having a soft concentration, a relaxed concentration. I like to think of this as resting on the breath, just dropping all the heavy baggage of all other thoughts, all other things, and just very peacefully resting on the breath. Feeling the air come in and go out. If you become still enough, calm enough, you'll begin to notice that the air comes in a little cooler and goes out a little warmer as it is warmed by the body. Resting on the breath, savoring each breath, feeling how peaceful it is to just breathe. We're going to begin our second technique of body scanning meditation, also known as insight meditation or Vipassana. But if at any point you feel like you need to reestablish your concentration or your alertness, you can take 3 deep breaths. So even though in Anapana we practice natural breath, we can use 3 deep breaths to reestablish our concentration at any point in our meditative practice. This will alert our minds and bring us back. So beginning the practice of Vipassana, we're going to bring all our attention to the top of our heads, the highest point of our skull. And we're going to feel any sensations that we feel there. And at first, at the beginning of our practice, they may be very faint or even have some blind spots throughout the body. That is normal. But as we deepen our practice, we will begin to feel sensations in every inch of our body and more subtle sensations. But beginning with the top of our head, we want to tune into any sensations in this moment. Not sensations of the past or the future, not imaginary sensations, but real sensations, concrete sensations in this present moment. Perhaps there is some tingling, perhaps there is some feeling of warmth or coolness or pulsing. No need to imagine these, just possibilities. Oftentimes, it will be a sensation that you can't really put a word to. And don't worry about putting words to sensations, but instead just feel into the sensation without verbal confirmation. And we're going to begin to work our way down slowly, like a ray of light of concentration, going down our head to our forehead, doing the whole circumference of the head, so the back of the head, the sides of the head. Feeling the sensations there, working down the circumference of our head. At first, we can keep these sensations very surface level, like the sensations on the surface of the skin. But as our practice progresses, perhaps we can feel some internal sensations. Let these come naturally. Feeling our eyebrows, back of our head, working our way down. We can begin to feel our eyes. We can feel the eyelids closed. Perhaps some moisture behind the eyelids. Feeling our way down our cheeks, our nose, that same point of concentration we were practicing earlier. Feeling the air come in and go out. Can feel our ears and the back of the head. Down, our face, cheeks. Feeling our mouth, feeling perhaps of the lips touching, of any moisture. Observing these sensations without judgment, just being the witness, the equanimous, peaceful witness of these sensations, feeling our jaw and going down our neck, starting to feel our neck and throat. And if it is hard to feel the sensations at first, two options that are often available is the sensation of the skin feeling the air, perhaps some coolness or warmth, or the sensation of clothing touching our skin. Going down our shoulders, we're feeling our shoulders. If we feel any pleasant or unpleasant sensations at any point, we simply observe them, remaining non-reactive, remaining equanimous. No need to get attached with feelings of self, of me or mine, but observing sensations objectively. We're going to begin to go down both arms in a parallel manner, both simultaneously, going down both our arms, perhaps the feeling of a shirt, fabric, perhaps some warmth or coolness, going down, down, down our elbow, down, down our forearm, feeling calm, feeling peaceful. Down to our wrist, feeling our palms, zooming into any sensation there more deeply than we ever have before. You may even feel the blood pulsing through your veins, down our fingers to the very tips of our fingers. Any warmth or tingling, whatever sensation is there, observing it, observing the sensation of even though your eyes are closed, knowing that your hands are there, that feeling of hands. What is that feeling? What is that sensation? Zooming into that. No need to put words to it, just focusing on that sensation. of the tips of your fingers. We're going to work our way back up to our palms, to our forearms, up, 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 to our elbows, feeling real sensations, present sensations, up, working our way up to our shoulders, non-reaction, surrendering to this present moment. Once we are at our shoulders, we're going to work our way down our chest and back, like a ray of concentration working its way down slowly, feeling our chest rising and falling. The sensation of that, of fabric on skin, sensations of cool or warmth, down our back. And if at any point any unpleasant or pleasant sensations come, see it as teachers, as an opportunity to practice remaining equanimous to these pleasant or unpleasant sensations. Non-reaction, just observing. Down, down, down to our belly button area, lower back. Down, down to our buttocks, feeling the sensation of gravity here. This is one we can just about all feel, the sensation of the weight of our body against the chair or meditation cushion. And instead of breezing past these sensations as we often do in life, zooming into them, looking at them more deeply than we ever have. What is this sensation, really? What does it feel like? Looking at it closely, very, very closely. We're going to begin to go down both our legs simultaneously. Going through our thighs, section by section, like a ray of concentration, scanning, being the observer, like a scientist, objectively witnessing what is with a deep curiosity. Down to our knees and down our lower leg, our shins and calves. Down, feeling any warmth or coolness, fabric. Real sensations, present moment sensations, observing them without judgment, without reacting. Down, down, down our feet, feeling every section of our foot down to our toes, to the very tips of our toes. In Vipassana meditation, we work our way down and back up in a reverse manner, back down, as many times as we see fit. So in future practice, feel free to work your way back up. But for today, we're going to conclude our Vipassana technique here. And we're going to finish off with our last meditation technique. The technique of loving kindness meditation. Metta meditation. So go ahead and feel your whole body, any sense of stillness, of peace, of calmness you have acquired during this meditation today. And we're going to take that energy that we have accumulated and we're going to use it to send it first inwards. Like a ray of light shining within our whole beings, with love, with compassion, and taking a moment with honesty in a very genuine way, wishing ourselves happiness. May we be free from suffering. May we be happy and well. May we learn compassion. Feeling love towards yourself, radiating light, radiating love through every cell of your being, every atom of your being, illuminated with compassion, with love, with peace, feeling blissful, feeling calm. And now we're going to take that energy And we're going to think about someone that we love very deeply, perhaps a child or a parent or a pet or a partner, whoever you feel true, genuine, very strong love towards. And we're going to picture them in front of us. We're going to visualize them in front of us. Go ahead and take a moment to pick that being. Any being we feel a lot of love towards. And we're going to send them love. May they be happy and well. May they be free from suffering. May they learn compassion. And we're going to take note of this particular feeling of love, because this feeling of love is a reference point of what love feels like for us. Because we feel it towards this particular being, we're going to use this as a reference point of true love, of this love we generated that is true. We're going to take this same feeling of love and we're going to expand it to all our loved ones and friends, to all those we care about. And this is easy because we also feel this feeling of love towards them in a true way. To all those we care about, may all of them be happy and well and free from suffering. May they learn compassion. You can take a moment to picture them in your mind's eye and imagine yourself illuminating with love, with light, and it's shining on all of them. They're smiling, you're smiling. Enjoying this feeling of love. And now we're going to take the same feeling, using it as a reference point of what love feels like, and expand it to all strangers, to all beings we don't know, and send them that same love, using the love we felt before as a reference point, illuminating all strangers with this light of love. All the people that pick our fruit, our package, our food, cook the meals we buy that we don't see them, sew our clothes, all these strangers that make our medications or do so much for us and we never even see their faces. All the bees that pollinate our food, all these beings that, without us knowing them personally, do so much for us. And even those that don't do anything for us in particular. May they all be happy and well. May they all be free from suffering. May they all learn compassion. And we can imagine this light of love radiating from our hearts, shining on all these strangers. Now that we have cultivated this feeling of love towards strangers, we're going to take it a little further by sending love to those people that we don't feel pleasant feelings towards. Those people that might have hurt us, wronged us, are enemies, people that we have negative feelings towards. We're going to take that reference point of love. We can even think back to that original person that we felt love towards, or being, or the people we cared about, and we're going to send them love. And if this feels a little difficult, be gentle on yourself. Let your heart open slowly. And you can use the feeling of being thankful for what they have taught you as an opportunity of them teaching you patience or forgiveness or expanding your compassion. Removing any blockages in your heart, opening, letting that light shine towards those people, knowing that perhaps they are a bit lost in their path, and may they find the path of peace, of happiness, shining our light, our love towards them. May they be happy and well. May they be free from suffering. May they learn compassion. And we're going to expand our light more and more, shining so bright, brighter than 1,000,000,000 suns. Our light of love shining on the whole cosmos, on all that is, down to the farthest little corners of the universe. May all beings be happy and well. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be happy. May all be happy. All happy. Happy. Light and love in all directions, inwards and outwards, brighter and brighter, more and more blissful, until the boundaries between self and all else just dissolve. Just let the boundaries between yourself and the rest of the cosmos, just for this moment, dissolve into light, into love. we're going to, without opening your eyes yet, conclude this meditation by lowering our chin to our chest, lowering our head with our eyes closed. You want to come out very, very slowly as to not shock our nervous system. And once our gaze is lowered, we're going to little by little, taking your time, opening your eyes and raising your gaze. Putting our hands together in Namaste, smiling. Namaste. Thank you so much for meditating with me today. And I want to remind everybody that the true meditation is each moment. We cultivate these feelings of peace, these insights, these feelings of compassion on our meditation cushions, on our chairs. But the true meditation is each moment. Each moment we can go back to the breath or back to the sensations of our bodies or back to the feeling of love. And the true meditation is when in difficult moments we go back to those and we remain peaceful, we remain non-reactive, we remain equanimous. And as we build this muscle up more and more on our meditation cushions and in small moments of daily life, eventually we work up to the point where each moment we are in meditation. So I encourage you, don't stop your practice right now. Don't just drop it and go on as usual. Try to carry this sensation of peace, of being the observer, for as long as you can once you leave this meditation. May you be happy and well. Thank you so much for meditating with me. Infinite love.